So I figured with this year kind of coming to an end, it'd be the perfect time to talk about what's in my tech and travel backpack. I travel a ton for work. By the end of this year, I will have taken over 70 flights, and between driving from Fresno to LA back and forth basically weekly throughout the year, I've kind of figured out this backpack setup that works for me and has everything that I need to get the job done or just have all of the necessities that I need while I'm away from home. As always, I'll leave a link in the description with all of the items I talk about, but let's get right into it, starting with the backpack. So this backpack is the Tumi Alpha 2. Now you're probably wondering why I don't have a camera backpack, and I do travel with the camera backpack as well, but for the most part, I'm able to take all of my camera gear in that silver Nanook case back there, which leaves everything for the backpack free. I wanted to switch from a camera backpack to a traditional backpack just because it's a little more suited for traveling, and the Tumi backpack is no exception. If you've spent any time in an airport, you've seen someone with a Tumi backpack or rolling a Tumi luggage. What I like about this backpack is that it's not too big compared to most of my camera backpacks. For years, I used to tour internationally, literally all over the world, with a gigantic think tank backpack that had all my camera gear in it, and it gets really tiring when you're walking from point A to point B at an airport, especially an international airport, which is just massive. So to have a lighter backpack that I can walk around with just the necessities that I need with me at all times is always nice, and then I can keep all of my camera gear in the Nanook case without having that extra weight when I really don't need to pack everything in a backpack. One thing I missed about having a traditional backpack versus a camera backpack is just having that big open space when you unzip the bag. I can pretty much take everything I need from a tech and everyday carry side of things in this backpack without it overloading, and I never feel like I'm carrying around a heavy backpack. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this, and I'll just go piece by piece and show you everything that I have inside of it. First up on the list of items in my backpack is the old trusty 16-inch MacBook Pro. This is the M1 Pro base model, so this has 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of SSD storage. A laptop is of course mandatory, especially for what I do. I'm always editing videos while I'm on the road, so in hotel rooms or on an airplane, I need to have access to all of my projects so I can work. I've had this thing for about a year now, and I have yet to have any speed issues where I'm like, shoot, I should have gotten a faster computer. Editing on the road is extremely simple with this thing. I even find myself editing at home with this a little more than my Mac Studio sometimes, just because it's nice to grab a laptop and have 16 inches of screen real estate on your lap, and you can just sit on the couch and edit. The battery life on this is also incredible. That's another reason why I went back to the 16 from the 14. It's just nice to not have to worry about charging when you're traveling all day long. I can plug it in the night before I'm about to fly out, and I can just have full battery life to an extent if I'm just doing light work throughout the day. So this is kind of the perfect setup for anyone who does a lot of travel-based work. Next up in the bag, we have the iPad Pro. This is the 11-inch iPad Pro that I got back in 2020, so it's before the M1, but honestly, I don't really need anything more powerful than this. I have this in the Apple Magic Keyboard, which is very nice because it makes it feel a little more like a laptop, but at the same time, I don't really use it as a laptop most of the time. For the most part, I'm just watching a podcast or like a Casey Neistat video when I'm on a plane, so this has just become a dedicated YouTube viewing platform, I guess. But it is nice to be able to check an email or surf the web or anything like that without having to pull out my laptop all of the time. I'm also able to use this as a secondary monitor, so if I'm editing in a hotel room, I can set this up and use it as a dedicated secondary monitor. So the iPad really does serve multiple purposes, and it's a very functional thing to have whenever I'm on the road. Next up, we have my iPhone 14 Pro. Now, honestly, more recently, I've been using this to watch a podcast or a YouTube video on. I also take a lot of photos and videos with this while I'm on the road, whether it's just to document what I'm doing, or maybe it's for a YouTube video, or maybe it's a part of what I'm going to shoot. It's just nice to have an extremely nice camera in this. I can shoot 4K video, 10-bit, I can shoot ProRes, I can shoot 48 megapixel photos on this thing. It's nothing special, it's just an iPhone, everybody has one, but it's just one of those mandatory things that I need to have pretty much at all times because I'm a phone addict, but especially when I'm traveling. Now, if there's one thing that I just cannot settle on and I have to have anytime I leave the house, it's earphones. I have the Airpod Pros Generation 2 and the Bose QC35 noise canceling headphones. Now, it may seem a little weird that I have two pairs of headphones, but let me explain real quick. These are obviously superior when it comes to noise cancellation and ease of use. I can throw these in, it's gonna drown out all the outside noise. I don't have to worry about anything bleeding into my ears, and they sound great. The battery lasts a long time, yada yada yada. I can only use these for about 3 hours until my ears start to hurt. That is the one downside that AirPods have always had, or maybe it's just the weird shape of my ears, I don't know. But after like 3 hours of use, my ears just start to ache, and I have to take these out and switch to the QC35s. So if I'm traveling anywhere that's within a 3-hour flight, so let's say I'm in California and I'm flying to as far as Dallas, Texas, I can rock these for pretty much the whole travel day. But if I'm traveling any further than that, let's say I have a connection somewhere and then I'm flying somewhere further east or wherever I'm going, I can wear these for a little bit and then eventually I have to switch over to these. These are the Bose QC35s. Now I've had these since like 2018 and I'm probably due for an upgrade, but these have been my old faithfuls. I've had these whenever I was at the peak of touring. I literally did like 150 to almost 200 flights in a single year. So these were on my ears for most of 2018. I used to put these on for international flights that were like 13 hours long, and I never had to take them out because they were uncomfortable. I would keep them on all day, all night, whatever it was, and they're extremely comfortable. The noise canceling is pretty good, but not the best, maybe because they're a little older, but the sound quality is incredible. I've always been a huge fan of Bose headphones, Bose speakers, anything Bose because of their sound quality, especially compared to Apple AirPods, which are getting better but still not quite on par with these. These also have 20 hours of battery life, which is pretty incredible, so I don't have to worry about always charging these and plugging them in like I do with the AirPod Pros. Now let's talk about camera gear. Like I said, if I'm on a travel job, I most likely have all of my camera gear in this case back here, but I like to keep smaller cameras and a smaller setup with me in my backpack so I can use to take photos or videos, especially if I'm making like a small vlog or something like that. This pouch is a camera pouch from Wandered that I picked up at a local camera shop because I needed a way to protect my camera inside of the Tumi Backpack. Again, it's not a camera backpack, so this was just kind of the easiest fit, and it literally fits perfect in that backpack. So inside here, I have my Canon R6 with a 16 to 35 millimeter lens, and I have my Sigma 24 to 70 2.8. The Canon R6 has been my go-to stills and small video camera setup for almost 2 years now. I mainly do video work, but I also do some stills, especially if I'm traveling with an artist and they need photo and video. So most of the time I'll travel with just this camera and it can kind of do both. For the most part, I keep the 16 to 35 on here, but it's just nice to have the option of having the 24 to 70. So I'm usually using this for like Instagram content or shooting YouTube stuff. So this is more than enough to handle that. And of course, any more needs than that, I have my C70 and the more professional setup that I'm bringing out on the road anyways. All right, so let's move to the front pouch. Now, I usually keep my charger in here for my MacBook, and then I also have like a USB-C cable that I can swap out and plug in my iPad. So this is kind of a dual purpose charger that has everything that I need. Another thing I always keep in this backpack is my 4TB Crucial SSD hard drive. These little hard drives are really awesome. They're like under $400, and it's nice to have a quick drive that has 4 terabytes of storage, whether I'm bringing a project from home to edit while I'm gone, or if I'm out shooting for 1 to 2 weeks and I have to dump all that footage somewhere. It's nice to have all that storage space in such a little hard drive that's not going to take up a lot of space in my backpack. I also keep things like my R6 charger in here. I usually have like 3 batteries with this, so it doesn't really take up much space. And then over here we have some of the more important things. We have my passport, which I always keep with me, even if I'm just traveling domestically. It's nice to have a backup in case for whatever reason I lose my wallet or something and I need a backup form of ID to get on an airplane. So this always stays in the bag. And then I also carry this little keychain that has a camera tool on it, and it has ear plugs because I do a lot of stuff with music. I need to always have ear protection, so these always stay in the bag. And then I always keep a laminate of whatever artist or run of shows that I'm currently doing on this thing as well. I have this blocked out just in case they're using this laminate again, but it's nice to have all this stuff in one place, always in my backpack whenever I need it. Another pouch I keep in this backpack is this here, which I put all of my tech accessories in, like my USB cables and my iPhone charger, my Apple Watch charger, a USB type A converter. I also have this travel adapter, so anytime I go out of the country where I need different plugs, I have it all right here and I can still power everything from this. But even if I'm not going international, I can still plug this into the wall and it gives me 4 different USB type A ports, a USB type C port, and then the plugs on this side. So I can really charge everything I need using this one adapter, which is really nice. And there you have it. That is my tech backpack, my everyday carry, my travel necessities, I guess you can call it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. And again, if you are interested in picking up any of these items for yourself, I will be sure to put a link in the description. If you're not already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm planning on putting out a video every week through the end of this year. I'm already on 4 of 8, so we're halfway there. I would love to have you all along for the ride. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next one.